Welcome to the Four Rooms podcast, where we explore the four rooms of entrepreneurship: health, wealth, scale, and relationships. Each episode is dedicated to opening new doors and uncovering insights that empower you to design your entrepreneurial journey to be both lucrative and fulfilling. And now, your hosts, Amber Spears and Brett Kaufman.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Four Rooms podcast. I'm your host, Brett Kaufman, and I'm joined by our guest, Alex Doman. Good to see you.
Great to be here, Brett.
How are things in Utah right now? Or is it cold winter? Are we heading into spring? What's going on?
Well, spring is emerging. You know, we keep flirting with snow, giving people some last runs for the season, but spring's about here.
Now, in Miami, people start to leave probably the end of this month at the latest if you're a snowbirder to go somewhere else. What's your season?
Well, I think it's time, just like we have a lot of Florida and Arizona snowbirds that come out here. So the seasons are very closely matched.
Yeah.
So everyone that's been out here for the ski season is leaving because it's spring conditions and it's slushy. And, we're quite accustomed to beautiful powder, here in Utah, and we're spoiled. So when conditions aren't optimal, folks start to head out.
That's very fair. So we got connected because you know Amber via LinkedIn, but it's also funny enough, as we were talking before we started, a lot of our members in our community, which is awesome. And some of our members actually helped you with your health brands. And I'm excited because as we were checking them out, I'd love for you to dive in and talk about some of these amazing health technologies that you are working on.
Yeah, I'd love to. So I've been in this space, Brett, about 30 years, working in neurotech and music health, and have been fortunate to be involved in a lot of, just great projects as a founder and to work with some amazing people. So Advanced Brain Technologies is one of the brands where we've developed a professional development programs for practitioners that are centered around a music listening therapy method called the listening program, which is really what you would call a prescriptive music program where you listen 15 minutes a day to a progressive set of psychoacoustically produced soundtracks that guide you to your desired goals in life. We'll help people with their stress reduction, with peak performance, but we'll also help, children with developmental issues like autism or, kids with attentional problems. It's all about helping people reach their optimal potential, whatever that might be. So we've got a great SaaS platform, online platform with mobile apps for people to engage with that particular methodology, and been able to impact a lot of lives through that. So listen through headphones 15 minutes a day and create a shift in your life.
That's amazing. So, how'd you get into it in the first place?
Family. My family's been in the field of brain rehabilitation and brain performance. Now it's funny to say almost 80 years. 3 generations. So,
wow.
And we've always believed as a family in the unlimited potential of each of us. And it's really been the mission of those of us doing the work to help people achieve that potential, really to become the best version of themselves, whatever that might be. So, growing up around this work, it was just, the destiny was already set.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would love for you to dive into some of the technologies that you're using. So let's say pick an example of someone that can really benefit. How would it work? What would that look like?
Yeah. So we'll talk about Vital Neural, which is the second company. Started with my co-founder, Dr. Cameron Falapur. And what we have there is a tool that really can help any of us, but ultimately will help us self-regulate and co-regulate. So to come out of a stress state, go into a state of calm and focus, and be able to participate in life in whatever capacity that we want to. We have a society, Brett, that is prone to stress, especially in the current climate. not to be political in any way whatsoever, but these are interesting times, and we're learning a lot about each other and ourselves, and how well we respond to change, which is a constant and incredibly dynamic right now. And, what we've witnessed is, over time, people's capacity to be resilient and to be able to regulate themselves under stressors appears to be diminishing, and they're having a harder and harder time doing that. So we started Vital Neuro, which is a mobile neurotechnology platform that incorporates a proprietary patented Bluetooth headphone that has integrated EEG sensors that read brainwave activity in real time, assess your current state of mind. You select a state of mind that you want to achieve, whether it's sleep, meditation, relaxation, focus, or optimization, how long you want to train. Then you have a guided journey of music that's been composed and recorded and designed to guide you to that desired brain state. As we read your brain state in real time, we're then using that technology to reinforce that state when you achieve it. So it's a process called operant conditioning. The overall technology is called neurofeedback, and we're really training the brain and training the body to access desired states on demand, like we're naturally designed to do. So this is a tool which trains the brain to do that. So it's really brain training technology that's really pleasant, really enjoyable to engage with, and you can incorporate it as part of your daily life, or maybe have one single use experience. So for example, now we're doing a lot of work in preoperative and pre-procedural settings where physicians and healthcare practices are using our system to help people reduce stress, feel less anxious before a procedure, before surgery. So in lieu of a pharmaceutical intervention, put on the headphones, have a 15-minute session to prepare for that procedure, and ultimately, hopefully have a better outcome.
Wow, that's amazing and so needed. I even remember today, I had like a bit of a stress out moment, and I stopped, did some breath work, meditated, and I was able to reset. Now it's just fascinating. Just utilizing a tool like yours can help me get there probably faster and even more efficiently, which is amazing.
Well, and it's great that you have that skill set. So many people don't know how to meditate. They don't know how to do breath work. And the nice thing with Vital is the brain figures it out.
Yeah.
Right. So the system does it for you. It gives you feedback on where you're at. So you, as a practice meditator, Vital would help you get into state more quickly, and likely at a deeper level of meditation, because your brain's getting the feedback on where you're at moment by moment.
Have you tested the optimal time? I'm sure it could be any time when you're stressed out, but like, let's say you're just fitting into your routine. Is like morning? Is it go to bed? Like, what have you found in that regard?
Well, it's pretty individual. So we really look for rituals in the daily life. So what are transitions in the day that it would be natural to do a Vital session? So when you wake, you may have a cue that, okay, when I wake, I do a Vital session to prep for my day. If I'm having a stressful moment, or I'm getting off or preparing for just off a Zoom meeting, that might be another trigger that's a good time to do a session. At the end of the day, as part of your pre-sleep ritual, winding down from the activities of the day, getting ready to get into a mindset and into a state of physiology that you're ready for deep restorative sleep, that would be another time. So morning routine, afternoons, and then or evening, and then situationally on demand, really, as you're feeling that you need a boost.
So for someone that may not be as aware of like what you're doing, and they're like, but I've heard of Calm before. Can you tell me like the big difference between what you do and what an app like Calm does?
Yeah, so Calm's, a great app. It's using sounds, and it's using music. It's using story to help guide you to a desired physiological or mental state. What Vital's doing is using a patented process of not only neurofeedback, but neuroresponsive music that changes in response to you in real time. So it's dynamic. So really your physiology, your neurophysiology is guiding how the technology works. So it's personalized to you moment by moment, as opposed to you listening to a pre-recorded track of music that's non-responsive.
So I'm assuming when I first start, it's figuring me out, but then over time, the music becomes more customized to me. Is that correct?
Yeah, the system gets to know you the longer that you've been using it. So in a single session, in a 30-second EEG baseline, it'll know your current state and help guide you to the desired state. But just as you intimated that as you spend more time with the system and more data is collected, then the system can begin making recommendations that are more personalized to you and are also informed by the large network of other people using Vital Neuro. So we're very much a science data-driven company and are constantly iterating the technology and making micro improvements to it based on how we're seeing people are responding, based on the time of day that they're listening or doing a training session, their current state versus their desired state, what tracks of music they're listening to. All of this is informing that system on how to provide better training methodology and protocols.
So that's interesting. And I have a question on that. So in the morning, my brain waves might be different than they are in the afternoon into the evening. So is it picking up where based on the time of day that I started, like the mornings are gonna be similar, or is it just like tracking how I'm feeling at whatever time I'm starting the app?
Yeah, so we're collecting data points based on when you're starting the app, but there is a timestamp. We know when you're doing that training. And when you begin to get into large data models, you begin to identify trends. You identify people are running certain sessions at different times a day and having different responses to those sessions based on when in the day they're doing them. We've seen patterns in some of our studies of certain peak days of use during the week for different protocols. We've been able to get insights in companies of employee patterns of behavior, productivity, and stress just by simply observing when they're running sessions, what sessions they're running, and how effective those sessions are for them as measured by the EEG.
What a great tool. Just like you get in a fight with a partner, a business partner, or even potentially like, your kid, and like, you don't want to blow up. Let me just put this on, calm myself down, or do whatever it needs to do. And then we can have a conversation. Like, you are boosting the EQ of the world. So thank you very much for that.
Well, you're spot on, and I think even more than being, say, responsive, we want to be proactive, right? So this is as much about prevention of getting into negative state as then shifting people when they're in an undesired state, and that's really about building resilience. So as we build, resilience in our nervous system, we're better able to cope and deal with what's coming at us. I know personally, Brett, when I'm using Vital Neuro as consistently as I desire to, that my fuse is a lot longer than when I'm not, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that tipping point where you're not behaving at the level that you desire to or need to for that other person interacting with you, or even for yourself, for your own focus, your own productivity. So it really is a great barometer to know where we're at, but a tool to really guide us to those desired states and to maintain our optimal performance, which, is something that we all benefit from.
Yeah, I was just going to add, like, what I think is so brilliant about it is, like, if you're super into personal development, like a lot of our listeners are, and I'm excited for you to hopefully one day experience an event, 200 of us, 7 to 9 figures, average 8, you go around the room, the first question be like, what book are you reading? Like, they're just so into their growth. And so much of us meditate, journal, cold plunge, sauna, red light therapy. So we have these built-in things, but it's like, you're just taking what I'm already doing, but adding so much more to it. And that's great because I'm already looking to optimize my day. I already have my vision board and I journal every day. You're just taking to the next level. So it's so useful for the person that knows that they already need it, just become even more, optimal and a high achiever. So I like this a lot.
It's a great addition to the stack
Yeah.
And it pairs real well, so if you're doing a red light therapy session, you do your vital neuro during red light,
Why not? I do it in the sauna too. It's like perfect.
Sauna gets a little hot for the headphones. So, you can do it before you go in or after. And if you're doing a cold plunge, just make sure you keep your head above the water and you'll be all right.
Now, this might be a little in the weeds, so you can tell me to come out of it. Will there be less of an impact if I'm like on a light run while doing it? Or do I really need to be like, because I can active meditate, right?
Yeah.
Like zone out on a good walk or run. Or it's like, hey, I would really, really recommend you sit down in a quiet area to do it.
Yeah, that's a great question, Brett. Traditionally, neurofeedback, which is done clinically, and there are now some home versions, are very much focused on just being committed to the practice of those training sessions.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Vital Neuro is lifestyle neurofeedback. This is designed to fit into your life, not for your life to have to fit to the technology. So the idea is if you want a deep meditation or relaxation, find a comfortable place, close your eyes, and take 15 minutes and just be present with the music and shift state. But I do focus sessions when I'm doing email, and when I'm writing, I do focus and optimize sessions in order to get myself into flow state. We have people that will run. They will do yoga, Pilates with their vital headphones on doing the session. So it's really a matter of we meet you where you're at. And it's just so easy to integrate because all I do is grab my headphones, put them on, connect to the app, and I'm running a session.
Yeah.
So it's just super, super easy.
I can also see that being just so fun to do on a plane.
It's great on a plane if you want to tune out everything else that's going on.
Because travel can be stressful already. You're just in your world.
Well, we did a study with flight attendants, talk about a stressful life. And for our flight attendants, we're traveling with our vital headphones before flights and after flights to, get them in a game ready state to deal with all the passengers and everything that they've got to do and to recover after a flight and to deal with the fatigue from crossing time zones and what that does to your circadian cycle. We had great outcomes with them. Really, really impactful.
I find it fascinating too, because like I started taking improv classes last June, and I find that post work, before I go, like I'm performing on Tuesday, but before even a class too, like I need a break of like minimum 30 minutes. And I listen to certain songs, like just kind of like get myself back in emotional, like high, like kind of like a silly energy. And I'm priming myself, but like what a great thing. I can basically prime and customize that to get myself prepared, like athletes do for whatever else they do, or people before they do a presentation. That's a big use case I can see in my life for it.
Well, I think you may be our first use case of getting game ready for improv. That's awesome.
Let's go. I'll be a great case.
You got to do it.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, amazing. So walk us through some upcoming exciting things you have being developed in these companies.
Yeah, I think not a lot that I can speak to publicly. With Vital Neuro, the most exciting thing is where this is going to start showing up.
Okay.
You may be surprised, the environments, the organizations. So if we think professional sports, we think large companies, personal development space, different health and related applications. Vital Neuro is a brand that is going to come on people's radar in the next 12 to 24 months in a pretty significant way. So for me, the big development and for our team is we're about to begin making impact on a massive scale, which is really how we measure success, is how much impact are we making on lives daily. And more lives are going to be impacted. More people are going to be aware of the work that we're doing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So as we get close to the end of the show, we do something which is my favorite segment, which is called One Hot Minute. Now, what One Hot Minute is, we're going to put 60 seconds on the clock. And if someone just listened to this one clip, so nothing else before, and in this 60 seconds, you want to share whether it's like a life-changing belief or a mantra or a lesson that you learned, just something someone's like, wow, that golden nugget was amazing. This is your opportunity to share it in 1 hot minute.
Cool, Brett. Each of us has unlimited potential. and our access to that potential and what we want to do in life is really a reflection of the opportunities that we're given, or those opportunities that we take, those actions that we make, these decisions we make in the moment, that we're ready to make significant, massive change in our life or in the life of someone else, comes down to, first of all, the decision to make that shift, and then the actions to take that shift, and then to consistently show up and to do that. My career has been focused on developing tools that help people to really become the best version of themselves. So when they're ready to take action, we've got a tool that's a companion that's going to help them get there and reach that ultimate goal of what they want to achieve. And the beautiful thing is, once they achieve that goal, that's the new normal, and that's the new baseline, and the next level is unlocked and ready to be achieved.
Let's go. That was a great 1 hot minute. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Thanks, Brett.
So the final part is, where can people find you?
Yeah. So vitalneuro.com, advancedbrain.com, and Alex Doman on LinkedIn and all the socials.
Amazing. And you did a TED Talk, right?
I did TEDx talk on This Is Your Brain on Music.
That's cool. Can we drop that in the show notes?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So make sure you send it over. Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all this.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Brett.
As we wrap up today's episode, we have something special just for you. If you've been inspired by what we've explored today and you're ready to take your learning to the next level, then our 4 Rooms Mastermind live event is the perfect next step. And because you're a part of our podcast family, we're offering an exclusive 10% discount on your registration when you apply and are accepted. This is your chance. It's your chance to build relationships with other ambitious entrepreneurs like yourself, to dive deeper into the 4 rooms of entrepreneurship, and to connect with experts who can truly help accelerate your growth. Simply follow the event link in the description of this episode and use the promo code 4rooms10. That's FOURROOMS10 on your application to claim this opportunity. This offer is subject to application approval and it's limited, so don't wait too long to make your decision. Join us and transform your journey with the insights and networking that only our live events can offer. Thank you for tuning in today. We look forward to seeing you at the event, and of course, right back here next time on the 4 Rooms podcast. Until then, keep balancing and keep growing.